So now that we've made it more difficult to cheat, let's go ahead and track how well the user is doing. So I'm going to keep track of the balance and the number of hands played. So every time you win, and every time you play, it costs you 1 to play, and then you get whatever payoff. And then I'm going to keep track of how many hands total were played and use that to calculate expected value. And so I'm going to create some new keys in poker constants. So there's going to be a balance key, and there's going to be hands played key. And then in my poker code, whenever I deal a new hand, I'm also going to increment the hands played key. And then I might need to do something special the first time in when this is just returning an empty string. So we may have to come back to that. And I'm also going to decrement the balance key so that's your bet. So you bet 1, you played 1 additional hand, and then on draw, when you actually draw a hand, I want to know the type of hand, so that's hand type of the final hand, and then set session value balance to be payoffs of type. And then to get rid of this warning, once again, payoffs is payoffs, and then $ payoffs here. So that should keep track of the number of hands and the balance, and then I want to show that information here in show user. So after the username and the logout link, let's go ahead and also add a break here. I'm going to echo get session value balance key, and let's put a little label here. And I can use get session value for this now too, since I already have it. And then let's also get the hands played. And then let's calculate and output the expected return. And I'm going to reuse these, so let's just put them in variables. So balance is this. And hands is this. And then let's calculate expected return, which is number format. Let's do this to 4 decimal points. So balance over hands to 4 decimal points. Units per hand. \n. That should be it. So let's go ahead and see how we're doing. I'm going to reload here. Okay, so division by 0 on the first one, but if I reload again, so that's because I have 0 hands, and that's because it hasn't dealt. So let's go ahead and put a breakpoint in the code. Put it right here, and turn on debugging, and hit reload, and then go back. So I'm at this breakpoint. See, balance is an empty string, EV is 0, and hands is an empty string. So let's go ahead and make sure that hands is set before we calculate EV. So if hands not equal and hands not equal 0, then we calculate EV, else EV is just unknown. And this is just because we dealt the hand before we went and calculated this the first time. So I think this isn't a problem we'll get for new users. And let's see what we get if we reload here. Okay, so now it's working. Balance is nothing, hands is nothing, expected return is nothing. So now my balance is 4, hands is still showing as nothing though. 10, jack, queen, king, ace. I got a straight on that. That was quite a draw. Try one more time. So now hands played is showing up, expected return is showing up. So I don't think it's doing the right thing with balance here. Maybe it is. So it should be -1 now. So this isn't actually being calculated correctly. So let's go ahead and look at where the payoff is being calculated. Oh, I forgot to get session value of balance key plus payoffs of type. There, I need to add the payoff to the current balance and then store that. Okay, so reload, back, 19 jack, just keep the jack. So now it should be -1. And now it should be -2. And then -3. And then when I draw, -3 plus 1, so I got 1 back. So I'm back at -2. Back to -3. -4. And now I'm going to get 2 back, so it should jump back up to -2, unless I hit something better. Yep, so -2, -3, and now it should be at least -2, -1, because I hit 2 pair. So this is actually working now. I've lost 1 unit total from 10 hands, so my expected return is minus 0.1 units per hand. So let's log out and see whether this works correctly for a brand new user. So let's create a new account, test me, test me, test me, and I'll register. So I have some errors. Let's go to line 77. Take a look at what's going on there. So I don't have a hand yet, apparently. And then also on line 42, so here's the problem. So in my deal, the first time I come in, get session value of final key is going to be completely unset. And so it's going to return an empty string here, which is not true. So it's going to actually skip this part instead of executing it the first time. So I want to check for either an empty string, which means that this is the very, very first hand for this user, or final key is true. So if get session value of final key is equal an empty string, or it's a final hand, then I go ahead and deal. So let's go ahead and reload here. Now it works. On the first hand, I've just dealt a hand, so my balance is -1, hands played is 1, expected return is -1. And then draw. So now I'm going to be -2 with 2 hands. Okay, so that seems to be right. Let's go ahead and try this again from scratch. Test me 2. Register. Boom, so that's working correctly. So the first hand is going to work correctly. And then seems to be doing the right thing.